For anyone that's joining, the one person that's joining, you're going to see half the side of my face. Hold on, let me do a little bit of this. Yeah. Jolly and I are hanging out. We're recording a podcast, season 2, and we're going to be talking about some topics. So that's going to be my, I do Tuesday tips.
Yep.
So now I'm going to be talking about some topics. Talking topics. And I totally ripped that off from my buddy, Mike Falzone. And thank you, Mike. I love you for inspiring me to try to be funny. Anyway, so this is going to be season 2 of the Steve Walter Photo Podcast called Talking Topics. And I want these episodes to be more based around photography, whereas previous, season 1, art. Everything is art, is like anything goes, right? And for the most part, it was a lot of photographers. But in this, I want it to be really talking about photography and whether it be the past, the current, and the future, right? That's what I think season 2 should be, or that I want it to be, is talking about topic. And maybe it doesn't have to be photography. It could be video. It could be really anything, technology. And we're going to get into it today. So today, what we're going to be talking about, I'd like to start off by talking about the social medias, the likes, and really the overall idea that what if likes didn't exist, right? I think that's kind of what we were talking. What I positioned to you, right, was so who was it? It was Kanye, right? That kind of made this tweet that said, "Hey, this sort of like public announcement, or almost like this request out to all social media, right?
Yeah.
Like take away
the
followers,
like have the ability to like get rid of."
All right, so we're gonna probably have to cut there.
That. Yep.
As we were, and I'm going to take this off so that that way I don't feel like I'm in a bubble. So yes, it was Kanye that made this post. I'm sure he wasn't the first person, right?
I'm pretty sure he wasn't, but he was the first, maybe with that huge amount of following, to where people were resharing it, saying, yes, this should be a thing,
And that's almost an interesting point in itself, that he had enough of a following, right? Because it's almost ironic slightly where you have someone like that is... Before I get into that tangent, but so that's kind of this topic, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, if we stray from that, we stray from that.
Yeah.
But I think the concept, and for anyone that's joining on Instagram, not a lot of people, but for you guys, just so you know, chime in with your ideas, chime in with your thoughts. That's kind of the idea. And I think moving forward, I would always like to have something going live so that there can be sort of the listening audience contributing.
Yeah.
But I think between the two of us, we can get this
we can get this done. Yeah.
So there's some irony there, right? Is that this is a guy who has a massive following.
Yeah.
And it's not just that he has a massive following. He knows he has a massive following. And my question might be posed back to him to say, well, would you still do all the things you do if you didn't think that you were amazing because everyone's told you're amazing, based on the fact of things like record sales, based on the fact of retweets, based on all this information? Would you still be the person you are today? Would he refer to himself as this prophet that he so claims to be, right? I'm paraphrasing. I'm not a big Kanye guy, but I know enough to know
that he thinks highly of himself.
He thinks highly of himself.
Yeah. That's a good point, because when he first tweeted that, I was like, yes, I agree with him 100%. But then I'm like, that would never happen. Like, everything right now runs on numbers. It's like, but I feel the point where he's coming from is like a point where he's saying, give us the choice of turning it off if we want to, not completely getting rid of it.
Okay.
So,
and that's different. That's not exactly what I thought.
It's slightly different. So he's proposing that there should be a setting on your phone to where if I decide that I don't want anyone to see my following or my likes, turn that off. But now that raises that's where I disagree with him. It's like, if we're gonna do something like that, everyone should just have it off or have it on, because that's almost like putting your page on private to me.
Right. Right. If you don't want to interact with people, right? If you don't want to have that level of interaction that was designed by the developers, then do something like private. Or don't use it.
Or don't use it.
Just don't use it.
And then the funny thing is, it's like, you could argue that private is for people that want to keep their page personal, and this, what Kanye is proposing, is for more creative people. But that is funny, because if you're a creative, it's like, why not just embrace the numbers, you know, because those are that's what you're hoping to push your brand or whatever you're doing forward.
Your awareness, right? Your likeness. I mean, just it's a tool. It's a marketing
exactly.
tool.
My thing is, instead of worrying about, okay, take the numbers off, take this off, blah, 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 it's just to talk to the people more of not letting it get to their heads.
Well,
because I feel like that's where the problem lies. It's like the guy with 300 followers is worried that, oh my God, I'm not growing, so I must suck. Right. You know what I mean? That's where he's coming, where it's like, it's messing up people's minds, but it's the people. It's like, I know a lot of people with 50,000 blah, blah followers that you can ask, you know, they have no real knowledge about photography or anything like that. And they'll tell you themselves, it's like, hey, if you play the Instagram game right, you get the followers.
Yes.
And it's not about your work. It's not about people think you're going to hit 10,000 followers and brands are just going to start hitting you up. It's like,
there's a big misconception. So let's talk about that, right? Photographers specifically with Instagram. Because Instagram started, it's a photography platform. Yeah. That's the photographer's social media platform, right? There's all these other ones, Instagram, and also it's like the largest social network currently, 800 million, I think, users, active users. So with that point, right, there is something to be said about other people that use Instagram. Let's talk about photographers that use Instagram. And just like you said, you hit the nail on the head that, hey, I've got 10,000 followers. Maybe I know enough about photography, or maybe what I know more of is marketing.
Exactly.
And it seems like that's what they know is, I know how this algorithm works. I know what people are searching for. I know how to use the hashtag system. I know how to tag and comment.
Exactly.
And that's what's giving them this awareness.
Yeah.
But their photography could be meh.
Yeah.
And just meh. Or it could be really good, but chances are it's just meh.
Yeah. And that's funny you say that, because a lot of times people equate having a lot of followers to, oh, this guy's good.
Success.
And it's so funny. Like, I know people personally that I'll send, like, photographers, I'll send them a...
You can call them out. You can call them out, Jolly. It's all right. You can call them out. I'm just kidding.
I'll send them a picture and they're like, oh my God, so good. And I'm just guessing that this is what they do. They click the profile going, and they're like, wow, he only has 1,000 followers. I'm like, okay. And there was one moment at one point that I can remember where the guy was like, I can't follow him. The work was so good, and he had the photographer I sent him had 3,000 something followers, and he was like, I can't follow him.
I can't follow him?
Yeah.
Because with the implication
because the followers that he has. So he's saying he can't follow him because he doesn't have that many followers, and when he followed him, he didn't follow back.
Oh, so that's just shitty.
So it's like, if he had 50,000, it didn't matter if he followed back or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where... And that's where it sucks.
That's where it sucks.
So look, if you're doing it from a standpoint of, again, speaking about photographers, right? If you see some photographers' work and maybe they have some good images, and then you look at their profile and then you look at all of their images collectively, right? Like, I'm diving into the psychology now of using this application, specifically Instagram. You then start looking at their pictures. And if I look at someone's pictures and I start to see this consistency or inconsistency of quality work, then I start to go, well, do I want these images showing up on my feed?
Exactly.
And that's what's gonna motivate me to say, I want to see your stuff. I want to follow you.
Exactly.
Right? It's not what's the number count? How am I affecting that? Or how is that affecting me? Or are they following me? It's like, no. It's, do I like your work? Is your work going to motivate me? Is it going to inspire me?
Like, it's so simple.
It should be that simple.
Do you like this guy's work? Yeah. Yes or no? And follow if you do, leave if you don't.
That's it.
And then what ends up happening is they follow and literally go on the heart page and refresh. Did he follow back? Oh, he didn't follow back.
And then unfollow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's where the psychology of the, or the, I call it strategy, right? Marketing strategy of that. And I'm sure that there are, call them bots or even people that just do that for your account.
Yeah.
They go through and they'll comment and it's all garbage. And you're literally paying someone to do that for you. You're paying someone to be crummy. And it's, again, going beyond what photographers use it for as like a portfolio device, right? Like there are companies and agencies that use this as a marketing tool. Yeah. So I get it. But go ahead.
I was telling this to a friend the other day, and so long story short, he was like, he sent me a screenshot of this guy that was like annoyed that he unfollowed him, and I was like, right? And I was like,
how dare you?
Yeah, it was so funny. So I was like, why did you unfollow him? He was like, yeah, I was just clearing up my page, and I never checked his page like to see how many people he was following or not, and he was following like 2,000 people. I was like, oh shit, dude, you're following so many people, and he was like, yeah, that's why I'm clearing it out. So long story short, he does unfollow, right? And I was like, you're a personal brand. Like you use your name as the photography thing that you do.
Yep.
And I was like, you should try to like focus more on building a person-to-person connection with your followers instead of bulk following then bulk unfollowing,
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but this is what brands do, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, brands could do that because, well, with brands, to me, I feel like it makes more sense because to just have, it doesn't even make sense with brands either because now you're leaving a crap comment with, oh, check my page out, blah, 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 blah. Right. It just degrades your whole profile. I don't care how much. I've had pages with like 50,000 comment under my page, great work on their profile, everything, and then the comment is so you could tell that it's
just generic.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, like
this is an amazing place, and it's like a picture of your bedroom, hanging out in your bedroom.
Exactly.
You're like, that's not an amazing place.
I feel like your work isn't that good anymore just from that.
Well,
it's like when I see people that I assume, or I see people jump from 3,000 followers to 50,000 in a week. I'm like, you definitely bought followers. And then I just feel less about their work because I'm like, you don't have that much, like you don't feel that great about your work to the point where you'd waste your own money to look cool on the internet.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's a whole bunch of fake people. And it's not like it's real people either.
No.
And that's what people mess up too. They're like, well, brands pay to get followers. I'm like, these brands are paying social media companies to bring real followers,
marketing experts,
to their page. It's not some
follow unfollow.
Yeah,
and just to clarify, follow unfollow, right? Like I'm gonna follow you just so that you saw that, hey, I'm following you, and they'll be like inclined to follow me back, and then give it a week or even an hour, and I'm going to unfollow, and then they hopefully don't notice. Right? So that's how you generate and increase your follower count. And to your point, brands do that, right? They want to see, hey, Jolly, how many followers do you have? Oh, you got 10,000 followers? Cool. That means you have some influence. So now you are deemed an influencer. Well, how much influence do you have? You have an influence of 10,000, however that's measured, right? Of 10,000. So then a brand could say to you, well, you have some value to me. I'm going to hire you. Or even to pause on that, you have some value to me, so I'm going to hire you. Well, no, it shouldn't be about that. It should be, I like your work. You're going to generate good imagery for me that is going to help support my brand. Not that you're going to help me, or the 10,000 people that follow you might potentially follow me and buy what I'm offering because you have trust with them. That's where the hole is that.
And you know what's funny? I say this all the time. Sometimes, like, I have no problem with a brand like looking to the photographer to like send some people to their page. But the problem is, like, especially with follow to unfollowers, the person followed you because you followed them, not because they like your work. And you don't build a personal connection with them because you unfollow them a couple hours after and you don't talk to them, you don't mingle or anything. So technically you're just two people on the internet that he thinks that, oh yeah, this guy's following me, so I follow them back, blah, 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 blah.
I like just the thought of you're just two people on the internet.
Yeah. And I know, like, long story short, I know people with 10,000 followers that have zero influence. And then you with, I don't know how many followers you have, but your followers, you do Tuesday tips, you do podcasts, you you're willing to help people on their stories and all of that.
Yeah.
And that might influence more people to listen to you. Like your word might mean more to your followers, your 1,000 than that guy's word to that 10,000. You know what I mean? Like couple months ago, I used to do a lot of before and afters, and people DM me saying, "Hey man, like, how do you do this? How do you do that?" And I'll just tell them straight out, and they're like, I have people coming to me like weeks after saying, "Hey, you helped my friend with this, blah 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 blah. He said you should come. I should if I have any. You're a pretty cool dude. If I have need any help, I could talk to you." And then from that, like, you just have, you know, you pass that barrier of two people on the internet, and you become like
community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So
and that's what it ideally, right? That's what it should be about. And just to touch upon your point of when you're talking about brands and that influence, if I'm a brand, whatever brand I am, small mom and pop or giant corporate conglomerate, right?
Yep.
Like if I look to you as an influencer, it would only make sense. The numbers shouldn't matter. They shouldn't matter. They would only matter if the audience that you have is my target demographic.
I was just about to say that too. It's funny.
Because if all the people that follow you are photographers and my brand, it has nothing to do with photography, well, what does it matter if you have 250,000 followers?
That's what
all of the people that follow you are photographers.
The only thing that matters is the work at the end of the day. And it's funny because most brands that most photographers end up working with aren't photography related.
Yeah, no, they're not.
The ones that are photography related have, you know, ambassadors for that type of stuff. You know what I mean? They're not going to look for someone. They're not,
I don't think they're going to start just looking around for people.
Like
just randomly on the internet. Hey, you got cool stuff. You want to come shoot for me? It's like, no, I think there's going to be a deeper conversation. I would hope that Canon and Nikon, you know, they have their ambassador plans and programs, and Sony and all of them. Everyone has a program where it's like, hey, here's our brand. Here's our message. Here's what you need to support. Not just like, hey, cool pics. Why don't you come work with us?
Yeah. No.
And just to chime in for those that are listening on Instagram right now, please feel free to chime in with your feedback. Sorry, the horizontal view, I know. I'm working on this. This was sort of, you know, last minute idea here, but chime in with your thoughts and questions and feedback. Yeah, so that whole influencer concept only works when the influence is your demographic.
Definitely, yeah. And it's so funny, like influencer, it's like, that word is so funny to me when it comes when it comes to Instagram. It's like, we are basing influence off the amount of followers this person has.
That's it. That's what defines the job title is a number.
And that's not what influence is. It's like, do people listen to you?
Yeah.
And how much does your word mean to these people?
Right.
A lot of these people that I follow, I just like their work. Like if they say, hey, I'm using this Peak Design bag, I'm gonna be
care.
Let me go check out Peak Design because this guy has it. No, if you now post on your story, hey, I'm trying out this Peak Design bag.
A Tuesday tip.
Yeah. I'll be like, let me go DM Steve and see what he thinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that I think comes down to one word: trust.
Trust.
You build trust, and your community and your influence is all based around trust. And if there is just this sort of hollow emptiness of, hey, I'm gonna spew out a bunch of stuff, follow on follow, get a big following, and just be this, you know, personality, and not have any communication. I don't reply to anyone's comments. I don't do anything. I just have a big number that I can sell to a brand. Then, well, I don't care about you, man. And so going back to Kanye, right? Again, I don't know Kanye, but I don't know what type of interaction he has with his followers. I don't know what type of community he's built. I don't know what type of stuff he gives back. Other than, is it just being like, hey, I'm amazing and I produce music for you to listen to? Or is it more than that, right? Is it deeper than that? Because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the idea of, hey, I'm amazing and I produce stuff for you. But when we're talking about this influencer, right? That's someone who has a massive amount of influence, even though they're not titled an influencer, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all of these pop stars, all of these athletes, all of these people
are influencers.
I mean, you know the photographers that you follow and I follow. Like in my mind, those are my superstars, dude. Those are the people I want an autograph from, right? Like I think about an Annie Leibovitz. If I met her, I'd be like, oh my God. Hey, what's up? Can I just hang around you? And she'd be like, you're a weird person. I'm like, no, you're an influencer. You have such an influence over me. But she probably doesn't think of herself that way.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's so funny because funny enough, no one probably even thinks about her like that. No one hires Annie to
be an influencer.
Be an influencer. No one says, Annie, I like your work, and you have this amount of followers. It's just like, Annie, I like your work. I want you to shoot this for me. You know what I mean? Your
work's amazing. I think you're a great person. We should work together. That should be the foundation of a photographer working in the modern day.
Yep.
I think. I hope. But it's not. And it's not. And what happens is people fall into these trends of, hey, I'm going to color grade my images this very specific way because that's what's going to generate followers. And then brands are going to come approach me, quote unquote. Brands are then going to come approach me. At least that's the idea. And they're going to be like, hey, you got a lot of followers. Why don't you photograph our products and sneak them into your images and not tell anyone it's an ad, but get that product out there. And it's like, dude, I see through that. People are smart, man. We see through that.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe if I was 13, I might not. Maybe that's the thing. Like, I'm almost 40, so like I see through that shit. But if I was a kid, maybe not.
And maybe those are the ones you're getting.
And maybe and again, it should go back to, right? Like, it shouldn't be the number. What's more important is the analytics.
Yeah.
The data behind that number.
And that's funny. Funny you say that, because I was thinking to say this just now. One of this model, she's not even the model. I don't know if you know her, Hertbay Creel Courtney. She blew up. She went viral a couple years ago, for some crap. But now she has 200 and something thousand followers, and she's verified and everything. And
the verification. We'll talk about that. Continue.
And she came back to New York a couple months ago, and she wanted to shoot, and we went to New York and we shot. And I was just curious, and I was like, hey, when brands hit you up, do they just look at your? I mean, they know you're famous because the whole thing went viral. And I was like, but do they still ask to like see your, or do they just go off your following and the likes they see? She was like, no, they want to see, you have to send screenshots of the insights.
Your data. Yeah.
So she said,
good.
She said a couple years ago, like a couple months back, they didn't do that. They just went off of the followers and if you were getting this amount of likes. And she said recently she realized that you go to the meetings and they're like, okay, let's see what's the reach, what's the insights, how many people are saving it, how many people are like clicking the link, like if it's a promoted post, how many people are clicking it.
All right, right. What's your click through?
Yeah. Yep. So I believe in the future it's going to be more than just, okay, this is the amount of followers, this is the amount of likes. So I'm hoping that would weed out like the ones that just buy a crap ton of robot followers and crap ton of robot likes, because those don't show clicks. And
there's no no. You've got 50,000 followers and 100 likes, 100 likes or 10 comments. It's like that doesn't add up at all.
Exactly.
So no, that is an interesting point. So I don't know. Do you have you have a business page, right?
Yeah.
You can see all the analytics, and that stuff dives deep. So for those that don't have a business page, right, you can take your Instagram profile and switch it to a professional profile. It has to be linked to a Facebook page. At least it did. I don't know if it still does.
Yeah, it still does.
So it has to be linked to a Facebook page, and then from there, that's how you can do things like boosting posts. I mean, you get other benefits, or if you're a shop and you're selling apparel, you can do things like that. Yeah. But for me, just as a an artist, I think mine's just an artist page, right? I have the ability to see deeper data. How many men, how many women, what's their age range,
location.
What time of day are they looking at, where are they located,
location.
Did they save my page, did they click through the banner?
Yep.
All of that information now becomes valuable, and that hasn't changed. That's been around forever in marketing.
Yep.
That's been around since day one of, hey, how can we sell a product to someone? Well, okay, let's create this commercial. I mean, on TV, like all of that stuff. Like that's why a Super Bowl commercial is so valuable, because they know
that
so many people are watching
at this time. Yep.
Yeah. And they know. And then that's why there's even different time slots during the Super Bowl, right? Is it the beginning? Is it the middle? Is it the end? Typically, the middle is where you're going to be getting, the most people in it.
Because everyone's like just sitting waiting for the next half.
Right. They're waiting for this climax, right? And then they can then say, well, that commercial is going to cost you $4 million.
Yep.
Instead of $1 million if you want at the beginning.
Exactly.
Not as many people are going to see it though.
Exactly.
So all of that stuff is valuable, and that's where quote unquote big data is everywhere. Like everything, it's all analytics. So Instagram, I think, ties directly back to that. And if you pull that away, right? Let's go back to our main topic, right? Kanye. If you take all of that away, the title of an influencer vanishes.
Yeah.
That job no longer exists because you can't define what you do anymore.
It's so funny because like I saw you know, just those replies that show like the person, what Kanye said, and then someone replied to his tweet, and it was like,
oh, sure.
And it was like, there's someone on Instagram right now that is living solely based off numbers.
That's it.
You know
That's their life.
That's their life.
And whether or not they're actually making a living, or if that's just like an obsession, we'll call it, right? Or just, you know, if it's just some kid who's like, this is how I have value in this world. Like, that's, it's incredible, and it's also sad, and it's amazing. Like, it's all these things kind of wrapped up.
But
it's true.
There's, I don't know if you know this person, but Summer Rae, she's a fitness girl. And she did an interview the other day, interview/podcast, and the interviewer asked her, she was like, "Hey, I heard you start at 20,000 per post," and she was like, for Instagram only, she has 15 million. She was like, I like to start around 30,000 per post.
$30,000 per post. I'm going to post one image on my page,
30,000,
and I'm billing you 30 grand. Something that people make in a year.
Yes,
like an honest, you know, an honest wage, right? Like, I say honest, like it's not a high paying job, but like, you know, you're working. I definitely put it on Do Not Disturb.
You did.
Okay, and this is
Apple.
JJ. Yeah, that's my man JJ. Sorry, JJ. I definitely put it on Do Not Disturb. All right. So yeah, the fact that someone's working their whole life, or not their whole life, every year.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I meant to say. Their whole year, and they're making 30, maybe making 50, and this person's making it in one post on a social media website. That if that social media website went away, she's not making that money.
She's not making that money
because there's no value there.
Exactly.
Because she has 15 million people. And let's just say even, you know.
And that's how she came up from Instagram. I mean.
That's it.
Yeah. Working out.
And she does fitness.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
So there's fitness,
and then she
brands,
she
and
used
products.
that following from Instagram to now build a following on YouTube.
Sure.
Yep.
Of course. And that's the whole other aspect, man, is that, oh, yeah, let's talk about YouTube, man. So YouTubers, right? That's a job now.
That's a whole, exactly.
That's a job. Like if someone were, like, it's definitely a viable thing for someone to say, hey, what do you do? It's like, I'm a YouTuber.
Yep.
That's what I do. It's like, what's that? You know, you ask someone who's 60 years old, do you know what a YouTuber is? They're like, no, what the hell is that?
And it's so crazy because I watched this guy and his DDG, and not photography related or anything. And when he was in college, he started in college, and he said in college, they were asking him why he dropped out. He was like, I was making $30,000 a month.
$30,000 a month.
Why would I?
What do I need college for? What are you going to teach me that I don't already know?
He was like, I'm just going to leave, double down, and just see where this takes me. He's like, if it doesn't work out, go back to college. And I was like, think about, and my sister keeps saying this. She keeps bringing it. She's like, this is so weird because there's YouTubers out there making more than doctors.
Yeah. Solid six figures.
Yep.
Like good six figures.
Yep.
And that's just from YouTube. That's not necessarily endorsements, right? I think about an athlete, man. It's like, hey, the NFL is going to pay you. We're going to pay you $10 million. But then on top of that, Nike's like, yo, you want a taste?
Yep.
We're going to give you $50 million.
Yep.
That's where you're making your money from endorsements.
I remember I saw this quote. It's like, the richer you get, the less you have to pay for things. Yeah. Everything's like given to you.
And isn't that fucked up,
it's
though?
Fucked up.
That's fucked up. Hold on. That's fucked up. Right. It's like,
I don't remember
hey, come to this
it.
event. Here's a gift bag worth of $10,000 of stuff that you don't need, but we're going to give it to you anyway.
I don't remember who said it, but I think it was Usain Bolt. And so he's from Jamaica, and he, became Olympian, all of that stuff. And he finally had money to do things he never could do. And Puma gave him a deal and said, hey, we're giving you a car. He gave him a shit ton of clothes.
Yep.
He wrecked that car. They bought him another car. And it's like, wow. It's like, wow. Like now it's like you have the money and then you don't know what to spend it on. That's why some of these people just end up buying a whole bunch of shit.
Right. I mean, I got to think that, right? You went from a place of, call it athletes, right? These guys who probably busted their ass in college, right?
Yep.
Worked hard
Yep.
and didn't have shit,
Yep.
paying student loans. And then now all of a sudden, like, here's millions of dollars. What are you going to do with it? Oh, I'm definitely getting a Lamborghini, definitely getting a giant house.
Yep.
And I'm not thinking about what's going to happen when I'm 60 years old and my knees are blown out. No, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about living life right now. And I get that. And I talked about this with my buddy Matt. We were saying how it's like, we were just talking about this the other day where it's like, wouldn't it be crazy if those people just like lived like a modest life? Like they would have so much money forever and they would be able to take care of their kids' kids. But no, man, that's not the world we live in. We want to live in a world of, hey, how many followers do you have? How many likes do you have? This is what makes you important. This is what makes you valuable in this world. Yeah. And you got a Lambo? That means that you're better than me.
Yep.
Because you have a Lambo and I don't.
And it's funny because people look down on those people that live modestly.
Right. Chump, what are you doing?
What's it called? Kendrick Lamar. I remember a couple of years ago, he, rapper, was around, and he bought. I went on YouTube and it was like I saw like 4 videos, different videos, and it was like Kendrick Lamar buys a $250,000 home. I was like, okay.
Oh. And
I click it, and he wasn't in the video. He didn't say anything about it, but everyone is like, Kendrick Lamar bought a $250,000 home. It's like a big deal to them. It's like,
right.
Why does his house cost the same as mine? People are commenting, oh, you cheap bastard, blah, 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 blah.
You cheap bastard.
Yeah.
Isn't that messed up? The flip side of that, instead of being like, hey, good for him, and not just throwing his money around. Look at him. He's got a raised ranch, split ranch, just like me. Like cool, man.
It's funny.
Four bedrooms? Yeah, that's what I got. You don't have 20? Cool.
It's funny because on the flip side, Shaq went on the Ellen show and he was talking about his house, and his house has like 15 rooms and how many bathrooms. And Ellen was like, how many of those rooms do you use? And he said 2. He said 2. The bedroom and the bathroom. And then after that, in the comments, people are like, oh, you're wasting your money, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And it's like, where's that line of this is good?
Right.
Because when you, in my opinion, when you do what you want to do for yourself, people say this, and then when you do what the people want, you're like, oh, you're wasting your money. And right now, to me, I feel like Shaq's in a place where he probably will never go broke.
No,
But then people are like, oh, you're wasting your money. You should do this. You should do that. And it's funny. I feel like, and to go back to Instagram, I feel like it's the same, because there's people that do Instagram, play the Instagram game, post consistently, do the trends, use the hashtag, blah, blah, blah. And then there's people that the people who think Instagram is like taking over the world, like a Kanye would say, oh, right, you're not yourself, you're not this, you're not that. And then there's a flip side of the people that just think, okay, I'm just using Instagram to post my work. And then there's a group of people that look at them and be like, oh, you're not a true photographer, you don't take yourself serious, this, that. And there's always the two sides that are battling each other, that instead of just letting everybody be, right?
I mean? Just do your thing. Instead of this, hey, you have amazing work. How come you're not doing this and this? And it's like, well, maybe I don't want to, man. Maybe I just want to share my work. And not only that, right? If you start to separate that a little bit deeper, when you're getting into someone who's just posting for fun versus someone who's posting as a business, right? Like I'm posting my imagery as a professional, right? I want people to see that work, appreciate it, like it, and then maybe contact me. Or at least for me to then be able to say to people like, hey, how's it going? My name's Steve Walter. I'm a photographer. You can take a look at my work over here. Like that's a point of contact for me.
Or just to be something in people's minds, because, maybe they don't want to, maybe they don't need you, but they'll meet someone and they're like, hey, do you know anybody that takes pictures? And you're like, I remember this guy that I follow, and you're that guy. So it's crazy.
I mean, and at the end of the day, right, that's what social media should be, right? Is a way to connect people in an easier manner, right? It should allow you to connect. Like I've met new people, right? I've met friends. I'm sure you could say the same, right? Through Instagram. And through the art of photography, right? Through the art of just creating. Like I've connected with people and, you have these conversations and then you meet them and you're like, oh my God, you're a real person in real life. Like that's what it should be, right? And so much of it is not that. So much of it is this show and the numbers. And there are all of those things that go with it. And again, I'm going back to...
And a lot of these people are faking it. Like,
of course they are.
there's some people.
It's a performance.
They're faking who they are. They're doing what they post, what they think people want. Like not even just the posts. Like on their stories, they're being like, oh, happy this, happy that, and they refrain from saying this. They refrain from saying that, and it's not even on a business. Like I used to not like. Definitely refrain yourself from saying like things that might hurt your business.
Right.
Definitely. But I remember I used to do a lot of memes about Canon users, and people would message me and like, oh my God, you're going to lose so many followers, bro. I'm like, bro, like if these people don't know I'm joking, these people don't know I'm joking, they could leave, you know?
And not only that, like, but if you're seriously going to be that offended, right? If the camera that you use, you're that connected to that, unless you are like the CEO of Canon.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yo, this Jolly guy's kind of mean. I don't like him.
Exactly.
He shoots Nikon. I'm not going to follow him.
Exactly.
No, if you're not, like, why are you that connected? Why are you that invested?
And and
you're going to lose followers if you do this. It's like, okay, man,
and that's what's so funny to me. Like, I mean, I appreciate my followers and stuff, but they'll literally look at my page and come to me and say, hey, man, why did you use... I remember I had one guy that came to me and was like, why did you use 20 hashtags on this post? I was like, I didn't even know I used 20 hashtags on this post.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, you could go up to 30, bro. Add these ones. I'm like, I appreciate it, but I'm like, hey, man, let the post live. Like,
right. It doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be
not for you. And going back, we were talking about YouTubers, right? YouTubers, their influence, and the fact that, again, YouTube, a free website, that if that was gone tomorrow, a lot of people would be out of a lot of jobs, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking
a
people
lot
that
of
are making
lives would be
millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of income generated from one website, right? So that kind of stuff matters. Like, hey, what is my reach? Okay, if that's my job, like if my job is to create content, to get people to watch it, to get people to click on links, because that makes me more money. I think if I heard correctly, and I don't know how accurate it is, but around a million views gets you $1,000. I think that's roughly the number that's been kind of tossed around. I have no idea.
Ballpark. That's just for
call it ballpark.
From videos that I've watched. That's just for watching the video.
It's just watching it. You haven't clicked on anything.
Yeah, and then if your ad was played all the way through, there's a bonus. Right. And if your ad was clicked, there's a bonus. Yeah. And then not to mention your Amazon affiliate links that are listed below. Like that's a whole strategy that now all of these people are doing. Yeah. And it's some of the people say, hey, click on the link because it gives me a little cut. It doesn't take anything from you, but you're helping me out. And again, that comes back to trust. If I trust you and I like you, fuck yeah, I'm going to click on that link for you because I want you to get a taste. Yep.
You introduced me to this product. I like this product. I'm going to buy it, not through you, but kind of through you, right?
And it doesn't affect me, but it benefits you. So it's like, hey, thank you for giving me this knowledge here.
Yeah.
And
but let me go back to talking about, again, going back to this Kanye, if the numbers didn't exist, right? I'm going to bring up two YouTubers, right, that you're going to know the name of, and most photographers are going to know the names. Jared Polin.
Yep.
And Peter McKinnon. So let's talk about those two guys, right? And not to talk about these two guys for any other reason other than the fact of what happened recently in trends, right? Jared Polin came on the YouTube scene way before Peter McKinnon, right?
Yeah.
And then when you compare numbers, right? Peter McKinnon just blasted through.
Yeah.
In a year. He's in a year and plus, right? So you could argue that dude figured out the game, man.
Yeah.
And to me, as much as, you know, he's an influencer, there's a lot of people that love that dude.
Yeah.
That absolutely love that dude. And I'm not going to shit on the guy. He's okay. But in my mind, it's a performance. He's putting on. He is no different to me than someone like Conan O'Brien. I'm this character, a late night show. Here's what I do. Here's my shtick. Here's my B-roll. Here's my trend. Here is my brand. Jared Polin is the same way. But what's interesting is that someone like Jared Polin has to see a guy like this and be like, shit, he's taking my followers.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, taking my followers.
Yeah.
He has now got more influence than I do. So now as a business, right? As a content creator, what can I do? What can Jared do to be different, but without breaking his brand? And is it just the fact that, well, this guy Peter is more likable?
Yeah.
And is it just that his brand has more influence and he has more opportunity now just from the number that's underneath his profile page? That to me is scary and interesting, because you could argue that someone like Jared could now be like, my life's ruined, or he could be stressed and have anxiety day in, day out because people don't follow him on the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's fucking sad. That sucks. And here's the other thing too is we didn't even talk about their photography.
That's true.
I didn't talk about their photography once.
True.
And that sucks, man.
That's true.
Because ultimately, when I think about all these YouTubers, I think, well, let me see your work, man. Like, you're making all these cool videos. That's nice. But like,
where's your work?
Where's your work?
Yeah.
Like, let me see your work. And not for nothing, but Jared's work sort of meh.
Yeah, I agree. It's meh.
It's meh. Peter's
Plus
work
100
is
contrast,
it's
black
just,
and white, and clarity.
and you look at it and you're like, it's okay.
Yep.
Or even, just any of these content creators is, you could almost say the same, right, about what they say about like coaches or gym teachers, right? Like
they're always like,
you weren't as good as you could have been, so you're going to teach it, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that I like teaching, so I like to think that my work's okay. But it's an interesting concept where you see this shift from people that are creating content to then sharing how to create content. I hope my thought was conveyed clearly, but it's an interesting idea. And these are guys that have hundreds of thousands and millions, not to mention when you bring it down to a smaller level of someone who's between, like you said, 300 followers and 1,000 followers. That this person with 300 is like, I'm not as worthy as the guy with 1,000. Nope, not at all, man. You just haven't connected with as many people, or you just haven't marketed, or you got to use the hashtags.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's when it becomes more than just a hobby. That's when it's more of a business. So then you now have to do research on, well, how do I market myself on the internet? It's this crazy thing, man.
Yeah.
And that's for content creators, not to mention just people that are doing it for fun. And it's just like, oh, I do silly things with my friends. And not to mention, sorry, man, I'm going off on a little tangent here. Pages like, any of the amount of pages that are like...
just memes.
Just memes, right? Yep. Like, what's the, drunk people doing things?
Yes.
I don't know if you follow that one. It's hilarious.
I know, but...
And all they do is they repost someone else's video.
Stuff,
and they have this giant following. And then what they can do is they can go to brands and they can say, dude,
hey,
I've got this, look at this market. I have this huge spread of people that love watching drunk people do stuff. You wanted me to sell those beer koozies for you?
Exactly.
I'll sell them for you because I got the audience.
Yeah.
And it's nuts.
And it's a thing. It's a thing.
It really is a thing. All they did was repost someone else's stuff. And that to me, that's a business. That's a marketer.
There's this guy on YouTube that I watch. He's one of those guys that you pay money and he could literally build your page up to whatever amount of followers you want.
Right.
And he did a video where he started the page from zero, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna make this into a travel page where I could go to hotels, show them.
I think I saw the same video.
Get like travel for free, pretty much.
Right.
And I was like, wow, where's he gonna get all this content? Just repost. Take pictures of, I'm targeting Hawaii, so I'm gonna like take pictures of Hawaii. People look like tropical pictures. Yep. And he, through his whatever he does, like the groups thing, whatever, and he blew up. And he's, I'm like, right, that's really crazy.
It's crazy. I mean,
and without taking up a camera, without going somewhere, without.
Nope. He has a photography page without being a photographer.
Yeah,
no, he just understood that there's a market there.
Yep.
And it's like the curated pages. That's the term I was trying to think of. People that just take other photographers' work and post it, right? And there's so many of them. And then my thought is, well, why are you doing that? You're doing that because you want numbers. You're doing that because you want influence, and you're doing it, quote unquote, in my mind, for the wrong reason, right?
Yeah, for yourself, pretty much.
You're doing it because you want a business, because you don't want to take pictures yourself. But they could say, you know what, Steve, fuck you. I figured out the market, and this is how I'm going to make money. And, hey, man, I guess I can't get mad, but at the same time, I'm still like, well, that sucks, man. And then here's what sucks. Here's what sucks is that we're going to tag our pictures so that they show up there because they have an influence, and we want that audience to see us.
I was just about to say that. It's like, it's funny
because...
because...
shitty cycle.
It's funny because... they're pretty much growing from our work, but they're growing from our work, but we want them to, because we're tagging them. So with that tag, it's like, I give you permission. Actually, we're begging them to like, hey, repost this.
Do this.
Repost this, please. And it's funny. I used to be one of those where it's like, I need to get featured. It's been 3 months. What happened?
How come someone hasn't
Yeah. And it's gone to the point where you realize that the feature page thing is, it does help you grow. It does help you grow.
Of course. It'll generate awareness.
Especially if with how the algorithm is right now, I realize that if a large following page somehow tags your whatever, you automatically appear in the explore page. And so apart from that, like just the followers that they have will come check your work out, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Especially if they're a known feature page, people already know that, okay, this that was shared isn't theirs. Let me look whose it is. So you will get traction to your page. But then it goes back to letting it get to your head. You get 2 features one day and you're like, okay, sweet.
Right. I'm worthy.
I have to go take something else that get featured. And then you do all of this and you get this great picture in your mind and you post it and it doesn't get featured.
It doesn't get anything.
And then you're like, oh my God, this picture's shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Even though it's not.
But it didn't get featured. And that's where I feel the problem comes. Like,
you're chasing that high.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you are.
Pretty much, yeah. So
you're chasing this satisfaction of someone saying, you're worthy.
You're worthy. And back in, like, last year when I started and I realized how the whole thing works, it's, you shouldn't even target the page itself. You target the people that run the page. But so here goes the thing now where it comes to numbers and like getting noticed. It's like, I met this person and they were like, yeah, if you want to get, because I was so caught up on the features and they were like, if you want to get features, here's what you do. Find the people that run the page, follow them. Don't even follow the feature page.
Right.
Follow them, blow them up.
Right.
Like, make them feel like, and they'll check your page out. And if you have good pictures, then they'll feature you, regardless of if you use the hashtag. So it goes back to most of these, and it's funny because I have a feature, I curate a feature page, but most of these people that have feature pages, as you said, either use the feature page to grow themselves or use their feature photos to grow the feature page and their personal page.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it all goes back to the numbers where even though they might help you out, you're pretty much helping them out more because now, like I've had people ever since going on the mod for Discover Portraits started tagging me in photos. Me personally.
Right.
Coming on my page, spamming me, commenting.
Right.
And then 2 days later, doing the same thing. And I'm like, didn't you like these photos yet 2 days ago? They like again, just to try to get you to notice them. So you click on their page.
Yep.
Check something on, you're like, all right, let's just feature it,
Right.
And it all goes back to, hey, they're playing for the numbers.
That's it.
And it's funny enough, like most of the people that DM me asking for features do all of that spam, like, tag me, usually don't have the best work.
No.
And what's happening is that they think the best work is, okay, if this gets featured here, that's it. It's good. Instead of saying, okay, let me improve my photography, then I'll get the features. It's like
the American way.
It's like, let me go take some pictures and get featured.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
it's
because what's crazy too is when I used to get featured a lot, and I look back at those photos, I'm like, these photos are shit. You know what I mean? Like I look back and
I'm sure they were fine. You got great work.
They were decent, and I was like, they were decent. They weren't shit, but the thing is, they all had. Worthy? That's the thing. They were all feature worthy. It was like, I remember I had this picture, and it was a nice bright day, and I dropped the exposure 3 stops just to have that dark.
Yeah.
I did I burned the whole corners, burnt all the, just to make it look dark and moody to try to get on moody ports. It's like, it's like you start switching up yourself to fit them,
to fit a feature, and
then that's what's happening. Where, because I tell people all the time, I used to talk shit about them all the time, but these people that use prisms, and I used to talk shit about them all the time, but what happens is, if that style, the fairy lights and this and that is your thing, do it. But what ends up happening is they're doing it because they think that that's what's gonna get them featured. They're not doing it because, hey, I like this, I think this is my style. I'm going to do this. They see this on the feature page and they're like, okay, this is what gets featured.
Right.
Let me go do that.
Right. I mean, there is, right, when you think about influence, right, feature pages do influence people because it's this cycle of, I want to be on this feature page. And for those listening, right, if you don't know, a feature page, right, kind of like we were talking about, they search, they tell you, hey, use our hashtag and they search for it, and they look through everyone's work, and they say, we're going to take your picture and put it on our page, and they maybe have 500,000 or even a couple 100,000 people that are following, so now you have a stronger reach. So the cycle is that now me as a photographer, I say, okay, well, what is this feature page's brand and their look? So I'm going to create work that matches that. I'm literally now
switching yourself,
moving over to them. So here's the thing that kind of drives me nuts is when I think about that stuff is it's like your client, quote unquote, your client now is this feature page. And the only thing that they're paying you is in potential awareness to other photographers. So to me, I then think to myself, well, yeah, no shit, you're not getting paid, man. Because that seems to be the general thing that happens is people get all these followers
from feature pages,
right? From feature pages, and then they're like, well, how do I make money?
They're still at square one because, hey, all your followers are aspiring models and photographers.
And not only that, but now you are one of 10,000 people that do the exact same thing because you're all chasing the same thing.
And then this is what I tell people. Once you hit, there's not a number for it, but once you hit 10,000 and you've built up a portfolio of this is what I do.
Yeah.
You're going to have a hard time switching, breaking away from that. Like, let's say you find yourself and you're like, okay, I want to do fashion. I want to do more commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money is. You post one of those photos, it's just going to be like,
right. I think about someone like Brandon Wolfel. That's how you pronounce his name. He's a fairy light pastel color guy, right? So I'm sure people listening know that guy's name, right? He has an incredible following, right? Because he has a very, very, very specific look. And a lot of people have chased that look because they think, well, that's going to give me this stuff. I'm not going to lie. I experimented with the fairy lights because I was like, it's kind of cool looking. But then I'm like, this is...
I have a couple pictures.
I took 2 pictures, right? If I took 2 pictures... I took enough.
Yeah.
I don't need 10,000 pictures of the same thing.
A whole portfolio.
And not to shit on that guy because, look, he's had opportunity after opportunity. I'm sure. I'm just assuming I don't know him.
And you know what's funny? I admire him for doing that because, as I said,
his brand.
If you come about and this is what you love to do, because clearly he has to love it because he does it every day.
Every day, man.
And I hope so. I hope he does.
I hope he loves it. But even if he doesn't, he's a smart businessman because that's his thing.
That's his thing. So you build up. So even now, anyone that gets anyone that does anything similar to that, it's like, oh, you're doing the branding.
You're doing a brand. Right. So now he has a name.
He has a name. It's not like, oh, you're using... As soon as I see fairy lights, I'm like, okay, yeah.
Fairy lights pastel color palette?
Yep.
Cool. That's a
Brandon
Wolf.
Yep.
Right.
Like, he's probably one of the only photographers that I see now, Instagram, that could be a Instagram celebrity. Like, he has...
Like, that's a Leibovitz. Like, you look at her work and you're like, oh, I know her work. Or you look at Platone. You look at his work, you're like, oh, that's a Platone. Like, I know his work. That he has that status. That's dope.
From the lens, what the model's wearing, the model,
everything,
the time of day.
Yep.
He has a YouTube and he never goes out and shoots before 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would he?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. He's not going to get.
He's not going to get the shot. Yep.
But then back to your point, right? I said, "quote unquote," smart businessman. I mean, enough where he recognized what he was doing, right?
Yeah.
But then to your point, if that guy now Instagram goes away or something happens and he wants to change gears, he can't. He needs to use an alias. He needs to use a different name. He needs to create an entirely separate account because the only people that are going to hire him, again, I'm thinking commercially, right? The people that are going to hire him are like, hey, we need pastel color palette and fairy lights. Who are we going to hire? Oh, we'll hire this guy. And then Brandon's going to go to them and be like, yeah, it's going to cost you $20,000 for the shoot. And they'll be like, oh, okay, well, let's hire the dude that does work just like you for $5,000.
Yep.
And that to me is the thing that I guess is... Again, where I don't like just one style. Me personally, I love exploring different things. I love creating, and that comes back from like my design background.
And that was one of my biggest issues with photography when I just started. it isn't. I don't think it's as stressed now. But last year, everyone was like, you have to have a theme,
right?
You have to,
because that's what generates the likes.
And trust me, like when it came to editing, I hated edit. I was like, how the hell am I gonna take a early morning shot and a 3 o'clock shot and a 8 o'clock shot and make them
cohesive?
Same? Yeah. And I realized that half these people, they shoot at the same time,
same subject,
yeah. Everything. And I was like, that would get really boring. You know,
yeah, man, it would drive me. Even if I took 2 of those fairy light shots and I was like, okay, cool. I'm over it.
It's like, and even with portraits, sometimes I get tired of portraits. I have people message me and they're like, hey, let's shoot. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of busy right now with school and stuff. Let's do that later on. And I just, because especially when the person comes to you and they don't really have a set plan, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna end up do the same thing, shoot at 1.8,
right,
85, blah blah blah. They get great pictures. I probably won't even end up posting.
So what's the point?
And it's like, and then even with portraits, it just gets so repetitive. Like I was talking to my friend Travis the other day. I ran into him in New York the other day, and he was like, yeah, I'm taking a break from portraits. And he was just doing straight street photography for like a good 2 months. And he said, yeah, he's at the point now where he feels like portrait would feel new again. And then he would just go back to portraits and
just cleanse your creativity.
And then he has a new outlook on how portraits, you know, because especially with street photography, you start looking at things differently. So that's how I am too. Like if I shoot street photography for 2 months, it's gonna be like, okay, it's the same thing unless I'm jumping locations. But with portraits, it's like, tired of Connecticut. Sometimes I'm just tired of shooting the same person over and over.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just tired of the same editing. Sometimes it's just down to the editing. It's like,
especially if you're not being paid for it.
Especially if you're not being paid for it.
And that's where I kind of think about this.
Yeah, if I'm being paid for it, I'll shoot the same thing over and over again. Like,
I mean, that's what, like, anytime I have someone reach out to me, they're like, hey, I saw your work. I love your work. Can we do some portraits?
Yeah.
What's your rates? Here are my rates. Okay. And hey, I like the way you did this shot and this shot. I'm like, cool. Do you want to recreate those? I would love to. It's like, that's amazing. Yep. That's what I want.
Yep.
That's my ideal scenario for anyone that wants a portrait.
Yep.
On that level. And then obviously connecting the same kind of thing to the commercial standing of things. It's like, hey, I'm going to present a bunch of work and you can see that I'm capable of doing X, Y, and Z. Yep. Would you like to do something like that? Awesome. Let's do that. That should be the point of presenting your work, not to say, oh, well, I have X amount of followers, right? It shouldn't be to say, well, I want to work with you because there's going to be some benefit for the both of us. Now, sometimes that does happen.
Right? Sometimes.
But when people use that number as
a means to not pay you, sometimes,
right? Like in this case, we're talking about models, right? If a model then says, well, I have 50,000 followers. You should be paying me. And then I would then go back to them and say, well, what's your demographic? Show me your analytics to show me there's a benefit for me to pay you.
Yep.
Other than you potentially just being someone who's attractive and that maybe or maybe doesn't know how to model. Because look,
listen, I'd rather shoot someone with 2 followers that could model than someone that has 50,000, 500,000 and have no idea what to do. Like,
right. That's not going to help me.
At the end of the day, it comes. Same guy. I was talking to Travis, and he was saying the same thing. And at the end of the day, it comes down to the final photos. And if the person can't model, chances are the photos aren't gonna be as good as they could have been with someone that has a little experience. You know.
Of course.
So, I rather shoot someone that can model with no Instagram.
Yeah.
And going back to followers, my friend Travis, he's actually one of the photographers that I met. When did I meet him? Last year. I met him on Instagram last year, and he pretty much let me know that, hey, you could literally have no followers and make a lot of money.
Of course.
And and without even following the Instagram rules, as I said, he posts nature, he does street photography, travel photography, portraits. And I met him and I was like, I like your work, blah, 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 blah. We met. and we went around New York, started some street photography, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm going to Dubai. I was like, what? Going to Dubai?
Yeah.
And I was like, for what? He was like, yeah, you know, just needed a break. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, where do you work?
Right. What are you doing?
And he was like, yeah. He's like, I shoot full time. And I was like, what?
He's just a freelance photographer.
Freelance photographer. And I was like, so where did this come from? Like, you don't have a lot of followers. It's like pretty much word of mouth and marketing. And he said most of the people he knows that make decent money and are happy don't even have a lot of followers.
Nope.
He says these mainstream people, and it's so funny that he said that because a lot of the people that I know that are mainstream have a second job.
Yeah.
Have a second job, and I mean, like, let me not even say, they have a first job.
Right.
That's their first job, and
Right.
photography is just for content.
Right.
And he was saying, yeah, he shoots nature. He does stock photography. He does commercial photography. He shoots for brands, all types of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really crazy, man, because they'll tell you, hey, you got to do this. If you want to get into anything, you got to do this and be the guy for this. And he was like, hey, man, there's always a way to do it, but then there's always another way. You know?
Yeah, there is, right. So going to that point, that's something that I personally have struggled with, going back and forth and saying, right, do I want to be this one guy? Do I want to specialize in one thing, or do I want to be pretty good at a bunch of things? Mm-hmm. I personally have settled in my brain to say I want to be pretty good at a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Because that's just what's going to fuel my soul.
Mm-hmm.
If I am locked into doing one thing over and over and over and over again, I'm eventually going to get burnt out, and I'm not going to be happy.
And it's about knowing yourself too, because if you're the person that literally can't do the same thing over and over and over again, like, the work's eventually going to be shit. You know what I mean?
And
like,
there are some people that want that. There are some people that want the repetition and the consistency.
So now when you start focusing on one thing, even though you're not the guy personally, like with how your mind is wired and everything, to want to do one thing over and over again, there's another guy over there in the same field that wants to do that. And while you're there being depressed, tired, just pissed off at yourself, this guy's over here working.
Ready to go.
He loves it. He's doing it. So people are like, yeah, you can't be a jack of all trades. Like, if that's what you're supposed to do, it's better to do that than go into a field where there's people that actually want to do one thing over. Like I compare one of my friends, forgot his name. This dude I met on Instagram, he was telling me he wants to, like, get into headshots because there's a crap ton of money in headshots. So I was like, yeah, definitely.
Right.
And he was like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing fashion. I'm going to stop doing graduation shoots and just do headshots. I'm going to be the headshot guy. And I was like, do you like headshots? He was like, nah, bro. Nah. And I was like, listen, man, if you're going to a field and you're trying to work full time on headshots, you're going against guys like Peter Hurley.
Right.
And now Peter Hurley's that guy that he'll shoot 2,000 headshots in a day, and he'll love it. He loves it. Every new face is like, yes. And you're going to be there and you're just going to be like,
not into it.
You're
doing it for the money. You're doing it for the wrong reason.
Exactly. So,
and I'm not to sit and say that, you know, if you're working as a freelance photographer, if you're working as a photographer, obviously you got to work for money.
Take anything you want, but never dial down on one thing and make that thing is something you hate.
Try to be as passionate as you can about what you're creating.
Yep.
And just to kind of wrap things up, like, if you're doing that, try to be as passionate as you can about what you want to create, and share it.
Yeah.
Definitely share it. Put it out there. Try not to focus on the number. And I know it's hard not to, unless that's a motivation to you to do things, right?
Yeah.
Then let it be that motivation. But
be
don't
the person
let
the low numbers push you to do better. Not let the low numbers say, hey, you're trash, or
no,
your work's not good. Because it's so fun. It's so funny, man. Because there's a lot of people out there. I don't know if you know Photoville. It's this thing in New York. No. It just ended. Every year they do it under the Brooklyn Bridge. It's like a gallery. Leica's there, all the camera companies there, and they show like a crap ton of work from people, and some of the best pictures I've ever seen in my life. Like huge ass prints, like details on 100. And I'm walking, me and Travis were there, and we're walking around, and you see the photographer standing by there working, like, holy shit. The first question is like, hey, what's your Instagram?
Yeah.
Go on there. One of them said they don't even have Instagram.
I don't have Instagram.
They're like, hey, take my card.
Right.
Website only.
Right.
Website only and an email.
School. Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, some of them just don't like the Instagram stuff. Some of their work is so like, it will literally have your mind thinking to the point where it's just something that you would not think would bring traction on Instagram. You know, where the work
just
is so
unique and abstract.
Yeah, and it's like, you look back at photography. I'm one of those guys, because especially I don't shoot that type of stuff, but I'm like, there's definitely the photography that lasts is the ones like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And Instagram isn't the place for that.
No,
you know what I mean?
No,
and
it's not the fairy light work. Again, not to call him out specifically, but I think about that. All of these people recreating that. It's like that work is it exists for the month. Mm-hmm. It exists maybe for the year, and then
it just dies out. It was, what's the next thing? Yeah. And then you look at these photos that I saw at Photoville, and you're like, damn, this 50 years from now, your kid will probably look at this and be like,
right.
And then they'll look at the fear lights thing, and they're like, what? Why is she holding all the lights up to her face? Like,
right.
And it's funny to me because, as I said, these people don't have Instagram. Some of them don't care about Instagram. Some of them mix the work with their personal. They're posting selfies on there, and you ask them, and they're like, "Yeah, I just stick to galleries. I shoot for myself. The models get posts, but they rather have their photos in a gallery where the people would come and they get real life feedback instead of
a double tap on a screen."
You post one of these photos that you have on the wall here, and like that photo right there, it means more when someone comes in and is like, oh shit,
you can sit and appreciate that, look at it, observe it, touch it, be one with it.
That from one person might mean more than 200 likes.
Agreed.
With 2 comments, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, they commented because, hey, it's Steve. When they come in here and they're like, damn, and they're really looking at it, and it's like, how'd you do this? How'd you do that?
Yeah.
And that's what they value more than, oh, Instagram this, Instagram that. And believe it or not, people think the old fashioned, this is how you get money in photography is gone.
Yeah.
Everyone, when you ask people what's their plan for photography, it's like, yeah, all I'm doing right now is just posting, and hopefully I blow up.
That doesn't make
hopefully I blow up, and
blow up.
and that's gonna be the breaking point.
No,
and it's like, well, blowing up is going to get you this connection with this guy that knows this person that's going to get you a job. No, you're just going to be that guy on the internet with 50,000.
Sure. Oh, I want to go viral. Okay, cool. Go viral.
Go viral.
Then what?
I worked with this clothing brand, and the whole shoot, he's like, yeah, this is viral. He got all the models to have 30,000 and up, and it was me and my friend who were shooting for it, and he was like, we were laughing at him the whole time. It was like, he keeps talking about going viral. He doesn't even know how this works. It's like,
right.
You could get everyone with 50,000, but if Instagram's algorithm doesn't want this to go viral, it's not going viral.
Nope.
And the whole day so we delivered the pictures. He's like, yes, we had this whole group chat. He made a whole caption for everybody to post, caption with the hashtag.
Oh yeah,
sent it to everybody, and I was like, wow, this guy is really crazy. I messaged my friend. He's like, this guy's gonna get real disappointed.
Right.
Real disappointed because, hey, this is just clothing. Like, clothing doesn't even blow up like that. And he just thought that, oh, I have 4 models, all of them have 30,000.
Right.
This is
so
gonna
then
blow
that
up.
should equal 120,000 at least. Right.
No. Like, they all posted it. It actually got less likes than what their usual content gets. Right. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
Because as I said, when you build up a following of a certain style or whatever, it's hard to stray from that. I know people with 30,000 that get more likes, comments, and shares from a selfie from an iPhone
Yeah.
than a professional photo. And it's like,
it's an interesting, it is very interesting what people are going to relate to, what people would expect.
Yep.
And that you can't force that.
No.
You can try to understand it for your own brand and for like recognizing what trends are and what
and
other
try.
things, where things are
Yeah.
successful, and hey, let's try to adapt, and maybe you try to work around that, but you can't solely base it off of one or two things.
Yeah, no.
All right, dude. So let's wrap up. Where can people find your work, man?
Instagram at Jolly Tracey, JOLLYTRACEY, and the same thing for my website, jollytracey.com.
Boom, straight up.
Yep.
And if you guys like the stuff that's happening here, I want to give a shout out to the Patreon sponsors. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and doing this podcast. I know there was a bit of a hiatus. I just had a child, so I had some downtime, and I wanted to kind of regroup and create some more content for season 2. So that is coming out. Yeah, I'm at Steve Walter Photo, although I think you guys might know that. Maybe you didn't know that.
They probably didn't, yeah.
But this will also be on YouTube, even though it's audio only. This will be on YouTube because I know some people like it on YouTube. That's where they listen. So, Jolly, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we'll do more of this. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. So we're coming back. I know we just ended it, and we were sitting here talking.
Yep.
And then we both realized, we were like, well, we didn't talk about what would happen if Kanye's dream came true.
Yeah, the numbers went away.
If we took away the numbers, right? Because we were just having this conversation, kind of recapping on things and talking about the people that are motivated by those numbers.
Yeah.
If those numbers went away, say it again, what would happen?
If those numbers went away, I believe that Instagram would weed out all the photographers that are just here to get fame or here to just blow up. It would go back to when photography was just photography and people are doing it because they love it and they just want to show their work. Instagram would become more like a art gallery, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can't double tap an art gallery picture. You just admire it and you move on.
Right.
If you want to see more, you click on the page and you follow. You won't see a number change. You won't see anything.
But you're just saying,
I want to see more of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow you.
Now, I almost got to think that there are people, right, that are having this conversation and they're saying, well, we're going to create a social media application that does just this. They have to be out there.
Yep.
But the thing that sucks is no one's talking about that, right? And why is no one talking about that? Because they're going to say, because the influencers, quote unquote, someone like a Peter McKinnon is not going to say, hey guys, check out this app.
Yeah.
Because that's what that app needs to get it on point, is you need an influencer.
And funny enough,
to talk about it.
And funny enough, I'm at the point now where I personally think even influencers, quote unquote, these influencers can't do that. They can't push another app. Why? Because we've seen Vero. Vero was the first app that I saw. Influencers were pushing it. Like Gary Vee was on it.
Yeah.
Peter McKinnon made one. He caved in. He was like, okay, I hear you guys talking about this. All these people, and it was growing like wildfire. And
it blew up in a week.
It blew up in a week.
Crazy.
And it's so
crazy. New subscribers.
Danny
users.
Danny Diamond went on it.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, crap. This might
gotta
be
be
it.
Here.
This might be it. I made it. Made the Vero, and nothing happened. No. Nothing was like, oh shit, Vero sucks. We're not gonna use it. It just slowly went away.
Dude, literally, I think I used it because here's the idea with that is now here's my opportunity to get in the ground floor and start building it up. Yeah,
from scratch. Like all the things where these photographers that started early got from Instagram, I'm gonna get it from Vero.
And then it just
went away.
Just as quickly as it exploded through all this influence. It fizzled out. There was a lot of stuff in the news where like the guy that runs it was he's a piece of garbage. I forget what it was. Like I forget.
It wasn't even him. His dad was some crap.
And that's the stuff that doesn't even matter because it came out and then everyone was like, yeah, I guess I'm just not going to use this. Because not only, right, you would think that if it was a good application, if it was an interesting thing, right, that it wouldn't matter what his dad did. I don't care.
That's what I thought. And I was like, well, that's his dad.
But it was just an application that didn't work. That did show subscribers. That did show. But what they said was that there was going to be no ads. Right? No ads. There was going to be no sponsorships.
No algorithms, just chronological order.
Right. And that was the thing that people wanted to go back to. So when you think about that, and I think when Instagram first came out originally, I know it was only on iPhone.
Only on iPhone,
And I think it did show followers.
Yeah, it showed followers and posts from the jump, but
it was very primitive, and it was iPhone only. And then the evolution, what happened was that people then started posting DSLR shots.
Yep.
And they're like, that's not fair. That's not what this is about. It's like, well, fuck you. I'm going to do what I want.
Yep.
And then created this whole thing where it gets bigger and bigger and bigger because you're posting professional-looking content.
Yep.
And again, to that point of if all of those numbers went away, right? And I see people post this all the time, photographers. I see photographers post this on their stories. And the poll is, if Instagram went away tomorrow, would you still shoot?
Yep.
And the answer is, yeah, of course. But for those...
And it's funny because I did that poll. I did that too. And a couple people said, hell no. Like,
this is a business tool. This is a marketing tool. Why would I use
something that probably wouldn't benefit me? And I was like, I get that, but are you using Instagram? Gary Vee said something really, really, really good in one of his videos, and he was like, we should remember why we started. And if why you started was for the wrong reason, you're not gonna last long. And it's so right, because if you started photography just because you love taking pictures and you love all that whatnot,
right?
Instagram dies.
You're gonna keep shooting.
You're gonna keep shooting.
Yeah,
and
because you love it.
But if you started Instagram saying, okay, I want 10,000 in a month, in 2 months, I'm gonna learn how to be better than this guy. I'm gonna learn how to get featured. When all that goes away and the numbers go away, you're gonna be like, And it's so funny too. I had this one guy. He replied to that comment, the poll, and he said it would be a waste because he had a decent amount of followers. He's like, no one would know. Like all this hard work that I did, no one would know. And I'm like, well, you would know. And the so-called brands that you want to work with, if they hit you up, you still have access to all this.
Right.
They would know.
Right.
So did you only want this to show people that, hey, I have 30,000.
I got numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so crazy. And it's funny to me because then after that tweet that Kanye did, he did another tweet and he said, showing your followers, which I disagree with. He said, showing the number of followers and likes you get is like walking around with your bank account on your head, on your forehead. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because walking around with your bank account on your head could be a joke to some people, or it could be really dangerous for you.
Right.
And with your walking around with your which he equates it to is there's people with a shit ton of followers. There's nothing in the bank.
Right. Well, and I think what he was saying was more of the fact that your value, right? That's what defines your value. Is that, hey, I got 1 million in the bank, I got 1 million subscribers. That in these worlds,
I'm important.
That's my value. And it sucks. Or if he walked around with a sign on the front of it that showed how many or how many downloads he had. And it's like, yeah, that shouldn't define you as a person. And the amount of likes and things that you have shouldn't define you. If you want to make music, right? Like make music. If you want to record it because you love doing it, just do it for you.
And I saw this really interesting comment. It was a person clearly hates Kanye. It was like, Kanye, shut the F up.
Sure.
If this was like how it was when you were coming up, you probably wouldn't be as big as you are now. So they're basically saying, I think they made music or whatever. They had a SoundCloud link in their bio, so I'm guessing. And they were like, the numbers, without numbers, there would be no, oh my God, this guy's blowing up. Let me see what,
Right, let me check him out.
It's like,
you wouldn't have an awareness.
Especially with music. So yeah, Chance the Rapper came up from SoundCloud, solely doing it for himself, posting, and his number just kept rising, and that's how he's not signed to a label, he's not signed to anything. His follower just grew on SoundCloud, and
I'm sure it's because he's got good stuff.
And
I'm sure it's because he appeals to a large audience.
Yep.
And that large audience eventually discovered him.
And then that's just how it worked. And even my friend, I have a friend, Chris, he produces beats, and for the longest time since high school he's just been doing that, and he had has a SoundCloud, kept doing it, and then he just started doing remixes of songs. So he like this one song would drop, and he would think of another way that the beat could have went.
Right.
Did that, and people were like, "Holy shit, yours is way better!" And he just started growing from that, and now he's producing for like Future and stuff like that. So without that, some of these people wouldn't blow up, and it's just like how
they wouldn't have recognition.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, you could say this because you're Kanye." Like without numbers, without Instagram, without whatever, everyone knows that you're Kanye.
Yeah,
your face. Now, with a person that's a nobody in a sense, these numbers might mean more in the long run if they get those numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could mean, okay, I could do a post for 20,000.
Yeah.
And not have to work at McDonald's anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a touchy topic, but I feel like, as I said, the numbers should stay.
I was just about to say, okay, on that note, let's wrap this up. The second part.
Yeah.
Numbers. I was about to say, what do you think? Numbers should stay.
Numbers should stay. Keep the numbers.
Keep it how it is.
But keep your mind right. Like, when it comes to wanting to grow, definitely get your followers, do your best, but do it the right way. Like, if you're really trying to grow an audience, do promotions, don't follow to unfollow, because that never breeds anything good.
No.
And just know that because you have 300 followers doesn't mean your work's crap.
Right.
And because this guy has 50,000 followers, you have to follow what he did to get that. Just get the numbers, try to get the numbers, push the content, and that's it. Like, I tell people all the time, like, not everyone's going to blow up. You might just be that guy that's going to be stuck at 200 for the rest of your life.
And that's okay.
What's going to be fulfilling is knowing that, okay, I did my part. I created content. Someone loved it. 200 people loved it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just how it is. Everyone wants to be this famous person and be this influencer and be this thing that they think is the thing, you know? And sometimes you're just meant to be that one guy that only influences the people in his neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like,
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. And I feel Gary Vee says everyone has something in them that they could get money from. So it's not even about money when it comes to followers. It's like, if you're meant to make money from followers, whatever you believe in, that thing will make it happen. God will make it happen. The universe is going to make it happen. Whatever.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, maybe it's just that, hey, look in another avenue. Maybe
right.
There could be, I know people, there's this one photographer I know, his name is Skinny. He was just one of these regular photographers. And one day he just got up and he was like, you know what? Today I'm going to go around and just go to these local spots and give them my business card. And at the time, the W Hotel wasn't a big thing. And he went to the W Hotel and said, hey, could I talk to a manager? I'm a photographer, blah, blah. And now he's like the W photographer.
That's great.
And
old school.
Yeah. And
handshakes.
Overall, he has a following from it now. But at the time, it was just, hey, I'm going to show you guys my work. And if you like it, hey, hire me.
Here I am. I'm motivated. I'm hungry.
Yep.
And that should translate.
That should be enough. Like,
the same thing that you do outside of the internet should translate to the same way that you do it on the inside of the internet. Mm-hmm. And then you just hope that the things align the way that they should.
I tell people all the time, the amount of effort you see some of these people put into Instagram, making sure they post at least 4 stories a day when they're not posting. Make sure they reply back to all the comments, 200 something comments. Reach out to new photographers, blah, blah, blah. If they did that, if they did half of that in real life,
right,
they'd probably be rich. Like, and some of them have crazy good work.
Yeah.
So you'd think, man, this person is super good. But no, they're just real. If they applied this to real life, they might have just been like, pfft.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep the numbers, keep your mind right. That's what I think. Don't let it affect you in a negative way. If anything, say, damn, internally, because I'm a person internally, I do everything internally. Like, I'm like, this post did 300 the next time. You know what I'm going to do? I know it's not my style, but I'm going to make these people like my style. That's how I am. I'm like, okay, I want to start posting shoes. I post shoes and it's getting 2 likes. I'm going to, all right, I'm going to try to get 4 likes next time.
Yeah.
And if you don't get 4, if you don't get 4 likes next time, all right, we're going to work on something. I don't know what it is. Different hashtags. Maybe promote this post one time. So now I'm attracting people that like this.
Yeah.
And go from there. Like, people are wired differently nowadays, and that's just how it is. Work your way around it, but don't get caught up in this system of, oh, I'm ass because I only have 1,500 likes, 1,500 followers, and it's been 2 months.
Right.
And I see this guy growing, and I see that girl growing, and it makes no sense. And I saw this quote, and it's like, at the end of the day, when you find yourself, you're gonna realize that you wasted a lot of your time trying to please people.
Yeah, just on the internet.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna hate yourself more than a lot of people, because you realize now that, wow, you wasted all your time. And I equate that to people being like, when you're 20, like me. Now you're 20, and when you're 30 and you realize, oh shit, 10 years of my life, Instagram.
Yeah, just focused on that.
Focus on Instagram, not trying to. Well, I believe if you think photography is your thing, you should try many avenues. But if you're narrowing it down to just, all right, I'm gonna blow up on Instagram, and then when you hit 30 and you're still at 5,000,
right?
There's still models in your DMs asking you for free shoots. No one's really willing to pay. Like, you're gonna be like, wow.
You're gonna be a little stuck.
Yeah. Now I'm almost 40. Still working at McDonald's or wherever you're working.
Right.
The shit job you hate.
Right.
And it's like, maybe if that 10 years I had used to network locally, then build a thing locally, then try to move out and go nationwide.
Right.
You know? It's crazy.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.